Before I show you the code in Blender, I want to clarify that this course is not an in-depth guide on how to use Blender and all its functionalities. Instead, this is a quick showcase of how you can integrate ChatGPT-generated Python code with other tools like Blender. However, if you're interested in trying it yourself, I used Blender version 4.2, and you can find the code I used in the materials provided. So, let's jump into it. If you're following along, start by going to the Scripting tab and clicking New to create a new script. Before pasting in the code and running it, delete the other elements in the scene, so we start with a clean canvas. You can find the elements in the top right corner under Scene Collection. Then, copy in the code and run it. You can run the script by clicking the Play button in the top right corner of the Scripting tab. You can move around the object by holding down the scroll wheel on your mouse. Then, delete the objects again and run the next code. To get these results, I asked ChatGPT to create a 3D model using Python. I tried different commands and even uploaded a picture to guide the AI. As you can see, the first few solutions weren't great. Some attempts showed improvement, but then the results got worse again. I eventually ended up doing some manual editing, using the parts of the Python code that worked, while having a long conversation with ChatGPT on how to improve it in Blender, a tool I had never used before. I feel like I got to something fairly competent, but in the eyes of a master, it's probably terrible. However, the point isn't that AI is too flawed to use, but rather that AI can open new doors, helping you learn as you navigate uncharted territories and take on new tasks. But it won't make you a master of anything. AI's biggest strength is that it makes you competent at everything, allowing you to explore new avenues, even those you might have never considered before, simply because you thought the barrier to entry was too steep. For those who want to know how I finished my 3D model in Blender, I've made a short video showcasing the process. However, I won't be going into deep detail. That's because it's not really related to AI in a meaningful way. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't easy. But if you're interested in creating your own 3D model, I encourage you to have a conversation with ChatGPT and let it guide you through the process. So, let's quickly have a look. You can find the finished 3D model in the materials provided. After dragging the model into Blender, we can see its final shape. 3D models are essentially nodes that can be shaped and colored individually, allowing you to adjust their geometry, materials, and textures to achieve the desired look. If we go to the UV Editing tab, we can see some of these nodes. These nodes exist in a three-dimensional space, X, Y, and Z dimensions, and can become extremely complex. Heading into the Shading tab, we can see the full model. The model is built from individual pieces, where textures, colors, and other properties are applied to bring the 3D object to life.